Hey YouTube, this is PlasmaCards here. Adrian with his awesome RaySworns deck profile. We're here in a card store, so there is a bit of background noise. Hope that doesn't bother you guys. And I've made some modifications to my RaySworns deck that I'd like you all to see. So we start off with the boss of bosses, JD, of course. You need 3. One Daedalus. Daedalus is just a 26 beater, essentially. Great for knocking out field spells, but you don't use the ability too often. He's something that I just like as an interesting tech. You don't really need him, but I really like him, especially with spellbooks and Dark Worlds coming out. 3 Diablos. Diablos, I didn't get enough time to explain last video. Such an amazing card. You get to banish any light monster you want to target a back row. This deck does not like back row at all, so I pretty much designed it to take care of that back row problem, and Daedalus is just a great way to deal with that. So we essentially have a Sweato tour guide engine here with the 3 Luminas that are now unlimited, and an Orcus. Orcus is just a great card. Yeah, 1200 beater! No, he's got terrible attack, obviously, but he prevents guys from being targeted, which is amazing, and Lumina is just the best RaySworns, so you definitely want to be running 3. I know some people recommended running 1 back when it was semi-limited. Do not run 2, run 3. And Orcus is just amazing because you can overlay for the easy rank 3s. So then we've got our basic RaySworns here. We've got Aaron, Garoth, and Jane. Knocks out Thunder King, draws, knocks out face downs. You've got an interesting little Celestia here. I don't like it too much, but it's interesting for when you can keep your guys alive. Double Lila. Double Rackle. Self-explanatory up until this point. 2 Necrogardnas. You could run 3, but if there was one card I do not like in this deck, it is Necrogardna. Thank goodness Lumina's at 3, because when you draw into this card, it is downright terrible. I gotta say, if you can get this guy into a Zen mains, it becomes the most bastard Zen mains you've ever made in your life, because it is impossible to take out. But other than that, this card isn't good to draw into, but when it's in your grave due to Lumina's effect or due to mill, it helps out. 2 Card Troopers. Card Trooper is an incredible card. I still go by the fact that you should run 2. All RaySworns work via the end phase, so if you have a boss monster in your hand and you're missing one single RaySworn, you summon him, mill 3, and you're bound to get that RaySworn in there at the end. Very good card. So now for hand traps, we have an Honest, staple. Gores. I'm not running a Twilight engine, I just love Gores because, as you're going to see, there's a very limited amount of back row with this deck, and he's never a dead draw, essentially. 2 Effect Veilers. Could be running 3. It's great when it's milled because it still helps to summon Diablos and Daedalus. The reason I do not run 3 is because there are still many cards in the meta, such as Dark Worlds, that are not hit as heavily by Effect Veiler. In my side deck, I usually have a 3rd one just in case. However, I like running 2. So, now for magic cards. So we have 3 Solar Recharges. Back when I was a very young RaySworns player, I used to think this card was useless. It is the biggest price card probably in the deck. It's around $8 a pop, but it is so worth it. Seriously, you get a free RaySworns in the grave, and you do not go minus from using this card, which is amazing. This card, same principle. It's limited for a reason. You do not go minus when you use it. It helps your win condition by milling 3, and you get to search out Lumina. I would almost always search out Lumina when I'm using this card, unless you really want to knock out a back row and grab a Lila or something, but usually you'll grab Lumina just because you can swarm the field easier. 1 Monster Reincarnation. This card is the biggest minus in the deck. It makes you go minus in your hand twice because you use the card and you have to discard. It's a bit of a risk, but to get JD to your hand, it is worth it. I run it at 1 simply because 2 becomes inconsistent. 1 of these. This really comes in handy for fishing out magic cards. You do special summon a lot in this deck, so if you have a Lumina, you wouldn't use it. Yeah, that's about it. It's just, the only reason I don't run it at 2 is because I special summon so much, but if I have a hand that doesn't have any boss monsters, I'll usually just use this, or at the beginning of the game when you're not special summoning at all. 2 MSTs. The reason I'm running 2 is just Chaos Dragons still aren't dead, so you still have the potential for them to be useless. Chaos Dragons don't run too many traps, some of them run none. If you've ever, Justin might show you his Chaos Dragons. So, 1 Heavy Storm, just Heavy Storm, and the Monster Reborn, all that good stuff. And now for traps. Wait a second, traps in RaySworns? Blasphemy. So we got 3 Compulses. Okay, Some traps work well when there are no monsters on the field and you summon them and then you can solemn warning them. Some traps work best when your opponent's attacking into them, like D-Fissure and Miracle Fusion. This is the only card in the game that works for both. You can use it before or after your opponent summons. It's the best trap card in the game. The only reason I'm running this in RaySworns is because it's just too good not to run. This is just such a beautiful card.
So we're looking at 27 monsters, 11 spells, and 3 traps.
Yeah, if I did my math correctly, that does mean I am running a 41 card deck. For those of you that might criticize me for not using enough back row destruction, I would just like to show you all how much goddamn back row destruction I am running. You don't have to use this for back row, but for crying out loud, you damn know well that you will. Celestia, you can pop back row. Oh, wait a second, Lumina. Lumina gets all these guys out onto the field. Oh, wait a second, what does he do? What's his effect? He knocks out back row. Wait, what does he do? Wait, he knocks out back row. So if any of you would like to leave a comment in the description talking about, oh, why doesn't he run 3 MST? Because goddammit, this entire deck is based around freaking back row. I do not need a 3rd MST, please. So we're going to start off with rank 3s. You could run 2 of him, but I like him at 1. I'm a very offensive player. I like to run 2 levies, so Leviathan Dragon is just an amazing card. I am poor, do not judge me for using this card. Acid Golem of Destruction, great for running into 3,000 beaters, so that's it for the rank 3s. The reason I love this deck so much is because you do not need a very big extra deck. I mean, this card, like, I pulled it, that's why I run it. You really don't need too many of these. And, alright, just special treat for you guys, Gaga Giggle the Risen. Best extra deck card. Okay, on a serious note, as you can see, this extra deck is obviously not a very serious extra deck. You do not need very much investment in your extra deck. You need some very potent rank 3s. When Laval Chain comes out, you're going to want to use a Laval Chain for sure. I gave my Utopia to a friend, so I don't have a Utopia on me, but that's pretty much it. And then awesome synchros. But that's pretty much the deck. You don't have to run traps in this deck. Actually, sometimes they can be a little inconsistent when you mill them, but that's essentially the deck. We're going to be doing some matches, so you'll get to see how it plays then, but it's great for the meta. So also, very important, this deck costs around $80, and that's if you're buying them for their most expensive prices online. So this has been Adriano for PlasmaCards, and thank you for watching.